More than 40 years ago, a very attentive PhD student came upon a mystery in our drinking water. A mystery that has finally been solved with some bad news and some great news for your health. You see, in 1908, the United States started adding chlorine to the public tap water in order to kill the life-threatening germs that would otherwise contaminate our water supply, thereby saving millions of lives in the process. But by the 1990s, scientific research made it pretty clear that while chlorine protected us from dangerous microbes, it led to the production of toxins in the water, toxins that were linked to a higher risk of cancer. In part, this is why today the disinfection of the drinking water for over 100 million Americans relies not on chlorine, but a somewhat safer and related chemical called chloramine, although its full safety profile is controversial, to put it mildly. So, are you one of the 100 million Americans and plenty of others around the world drinking chloramine via your tap? Well, you can do a quick smell test. If your drinking water smells a bit like a public swimming pool, contrary to popular belief, that smell is probably not given off by chlorine. Rather, that odor is far more likely there as a result of the presence of chloramine in your tap. Chloramine unavoidably breaks down in your tap water and produces unintended chemicals as a result. Unintended chemicals that are very generally just called byproducts. In order to understand how these chloramine byproducts affect our health, scientists spent decades identifying them using various chemical techniques. And starting with that brilliant PhD student, they managed to identify a lot of chloramine byproducts, except one really big one, the levels of which were high enough in tap water to be of possible concern to our health. But try as they might, due to all sorts of technical limitations, researchers couldn't determine what this mysterious byproduct was, let alone what it does to our body. Finally, after decades of failed attempts, a team of researchers from the US and Switzerland cracked the chemical code and published their findings in 2024. This mysterious breakdown product is called chloronitramide anion. It was found in all 40 samples from 10 US public water systems that rely on chloramine for disinfection, and this mysterious byproduct is toxic. Well, the problem is that we don't really know much about it as we just identified it. So our understanding of its toxicity comes from advanced computer models that have estimated that it has a high chance of being a toxin based on our understanding of its chemical structure, as well as how similar chemical compounds have affected human and other animal health in the past. But while the computer models strongly suggest that chloronitramide anion may be toxic, and it may well turn out to be with more research, I have to share a caveat with you and also share another piece of great news with you. You see, in science, and this isn't a criticism, it's a normal part of the scientific process, it's a well-established fact that computer models can be great for predicting things in controlled environments like a science lab. And due to numerous limitations, such models can often be very wrong in more complex and somewhat unpredictable natural systems like human health. These models can be either completely wrong, as in this mystery chemical is not toxic at all, or wrong in terms of practical impact, in that this chemical may well be toxic but only under unusual circumstances that don't apply to most of us or not to any clinically relevant extent. We just don't know how toxic it is to human health yet, but we do know that based on existing water safety regulations, it's in our tap water in amounts that are more than high enough to warrant a closer look at what it actually does to the human body. The really good news is that we already know what to do about this chemical in order to protect our health if it is indeed toxic. It's super simple. Get a carbon water filter, but not any carbon filter will do. Scientific research shows that an activated carbon filter with the carbon in powdered or at the very least granular form is best. Such a filter can reduce or even fully neutralize this potential toxin via a really handy chemical reaction with the activated carbon molecules. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope this video armed you with a wealth of awareness.